welcome to the Nursing Dose with your host, Farah, aka Dr. Laurent, the nurse career coach. So, today I wanted to just jump on and do a follow up on the post that I did earlier this morning for new nurses and really talking about why your GPA will not get you hired. But here are 5 ways that you can land your dream job as a senior nursing student or a new graduate nurse. All right. So, for those who don't know me, I have been a nurse for over 20 years and basically have helped over 100 nurses land their dream role. So I'm going to get into it. Just give me one moment. And let me know if you guys are watching, where you're watching from, and what city and country you're watching from. And basically, if you're from the US or Canada, I work with new nurses, mostly from the New York City area and California area, to help land their dream job. So I've helped nurses get into specialty areas such as the ICU, the emergency department, labor and delivery. Most recently, just helped a new graduate nurse land a labor and delivery position in California, in the Northern California area, day shift, L&D, and she got about $170K for that new role at a preferred hospital. So it is possible. For those that are watching from the California area or the New York City, I know that you guys think you're in a competitive, area. And, I hear it all the time. Oh, I'm in the Bay Area. It's super competitive. I'm in New York City. It's super competitive. It's not competitive. It's how you stand out in the marketplace, how you position yourself for success, how you prepare yourself, both in nursing school and after you graduate, to land your dream role. So why do I say GPA really doesn't matter? It may be a part of part of it, but it's not going to secure the deal and get you your dream job. You can have a 4.0 and on paper you look amazing, right? However, when you get to the interview, if you can't connect, you can't promote yourself, you can't communicate, you are not going to get that position. All right. So let's get into it. So quickly, I'm going to go through it. And if you happen to have an upcoming interview, you're super nervous, you need some help, you want to learn how to work with me, just put down new grad in the description or direct message me if you want to learn how to work with me. All right, so let's get into it. Number 1 is build relationships that matter. So what am I talking about? So you can be in nursing school and you may think, oh, I don't have to really prepare for, getting a job until after I graduate. Well, you're wrong, because you can actually get hired as a nursing student. How do I know this? Because it happened to me, and I've helped other senior nursing students land their dream job before graduation. So for me personally, I got a job in the emergency department as a nursing student, even though everybody kept saying, you can't go to the ER, you have to start in med surg, no one's going to hire you, blah, 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 right? Even one of my clinical instructors literally laughed at me. She laughed at my face and it was like, you're too unorganized. You'll never be a good emergency nurse. You should go to med surg. So of course I didn't listen to that. And I had my last rotation in the emergency department. So be very strategic about where your last couple rotations are, because that's where you can really build strong connections. So for me, I went into the emergency room in my last 5 weeks. I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks. And I made some strong connections, really worked hard. And they were like, Farah, you should apply to the emergency room. First, I thought they were joking, but they're for real. So I applied. not only did I get that position, I actually applied to 2 of the hospitals there in the city where I went to school, and I got both offers in the emergency department. So it goes to show that, building those relationships and believing that you can get what it is that you want is so important. So it starts networking, it starts in nursing school. When you go to your units, make sure that you are not just going there just to do your skills, just to do your psychomotor skills. Show up early. Go to your clinical sites early. Go introduce yourself to the unit manager, the assistant nurse manager, to the charge nurse, especially if you're interested in that particular unit. So if you're interested in labor and delivery or NICU or whatever the case is, if you happen to be in that hospital and you know that's your preferred hospital that you'd like to work in, then you go up to those nurses and introduce yourself and say, hey, my name is so-and-so. I'm a nursing student, but I love labor and delivery and I see myself working here when I graduate. Can you give me some tips of how I can work on this unit? Can I please have your email so we could keep in touch? I would love an opportunity to work here after I'm done school. Start those conversations early. The other aspect of it too is really build genuine relationships with your professors, your clinical instructors. You may not, develop really strong relationships with all of them. However, there may be a select few that you really get along with really well. So keep in touch with them and ask them for a recommendation letter extremely early on. Even during your rotation, when you're done your rotation, say, hey, can you please write me a recommendation letter? Don't wait until you graduate and then they're like going to forget about you or be too busy to write your recommendation letter. And don't wait until you actually interview with a specific unit and now you're trying to go back and get recommendation letters. You should have all your letters completed before graduation so that you have them in hand. And I recommend at least having 3 to 5 good recommendation letters in the specific areas that you want to get into, or at least close to. So let's say you want to work in the emergency department like I started in. Maybe you didn't have an emergency rotation, but guess what? Maybe you were on a telemetry floor, or maybe you were in the ICU for a short time. Get that clinical instructor to speak to your critical care skills of how you're able to adapt and be flexible in those environments so that it could be applicable to the emergency department, right? Maybe, you want to get into NICU or L&D, but you haven't had a rotation there. So maybe get that pediatric rotation clinical instructor to write you an awesome letter about how you connect so well with children and families, because that can, be relatable to the field that you're interested in. All right. So number 1 is build relationships that matter, specifically in your clinical rotations. Get those recommendations letters, network, be a part of your associations, be a part of, every state has a nursing student association. So I spoke at the New York State Nursing Association and in New Jersey. So go to those associations because there are so many employers, potential employers there, or other people that you can network with. Okay. So, and then conferences, you can go to conferences still as a nursing student. There's national conferences, there's local, regional conferences. Okay. So thank you for those who are joining. I appreciate it. Let me know if you have any questions or comments and drop them in the chat. Number 2, you need to be able to pitch and promote with confidence. So, okay, and back to the building relationships, you can use LinkedIn to build relationships as a nursing student and as a new grad. Literally message people, get connected with people, okay? Number 2, pitch and promote with confidence. So, you need to be able to articulate your value and promote yourself. Nurses, for some reason, struggle with promoting themselves and being confident. So I'll tell you this, I've held myself multiple interviews, meaning being on the other end, actually hiring educators, hiring nurses, and things like that. And typically, the ones that do the best are the people that can articulate their value and are most confident. So, confidence starts before the interview. You need to prepare yourself. You need to be able to introduce yourself with confidence and be different. Do not introduce yourself just like everybody else. You know, when I work with my clients, my clients as a nurse career coach, I tell them, do not introduce yourself by saying, "Hi, my name is Farah. I went to this school." Boring, boring, boring. Everybody does that. Start off with something shocking, something that will grab their attention. You can start with a statistic, you can start with a story, or you can start with your why story, like why you're so passionate about L&D or critical care. And then quickly just weave in your intro. Your intro should include a little bit about yourself, your personality, and why you want to go into that specialty area and why they should hire you, listing out your skills and what makes you a great candidate for the role and how you meet the job description, right? But intertwine it in a way that is promoting and pitching yourself. So that is how you want to come across. And if you have some results or specific metrics, you want to weave that in. And the other thing that I always say is like infuse something in there that's like a little bit funny, something that'll break the ice, specifically in the beginning, so that you're just intriguing them in the beginning and that you're answering the major questions for them before they even ask you, so that you come across like so confident and ready and prepared, and they're like, whoa, like, wow, that was a great introduction. I don't even have that many questions for you. And that's when you nail your interview with that pitch. So that's your interview pitch, okay? And it starts before you even open your mouth, right? So literally what you wear to the interview should turn heads, to the point where your style is so amazing and impeccable that they're like, wow, like that person is ready to land their job. Like, you cannot wear black, gray, or navy blue. I always tell my clients, do not wear those colors. You need to come so stylish that you literally stand out from the crowd. So I worked with this one nurse and I told her to wear like a cobalt blue suit. You know, it's still professional. Color is still professional. You just have to do it right. And you don't necessarily have to wear a suit if you don't want to wear a suit. So I worked with another girl named Lauren in California. She didn't really like suits. So I told her to wear a nice, I think she wore a blue dress with like a white type of blazer or sweater, and she looked amazing. So make sure that you stand out. So literally she stood out. The other girl that I told to wear cobalt blue, she did the same thing. Another girl had really nice red hair, and I told her, I was like, oh, girl, you need to wear a green suit. So she wore a green suit and she killed it. Like, she looked amazing. So that's what I'm talking about. Literally before you open your mouth, you need to make a statement. Okay. And then brings me to number 3, communicate with clarity. Okay, let's go to the comments quickly. Currently a nursing student and working in labor and delivery as a surgical tech. I am thinking about staying there. Yeah, so if you want to be L&D nurse, definitely. So quick tip, this is a side tip for you and anybody else watching. Make sure that you also get your certifications early. So if you want to be in critical care, you need to get ACLS. If you want to be in labor and delivery, you need to get NRP, so neonatal resuscitation program. If you want to be in pediatrics, PALS, those things you need to have. Some people may look at it like, oh, I don't know, I'll just wait till I actually get hired. But guess what? If I have 2 candidates, This one over here has all the certifications that I'm looking for in the actual position, and they belong to the nursing organization. So for you, it would be for labor and delivery, it would be A1. If I see that, I'm like, wow, this person is a go-getter. I'm going to hire this person, right? So it's an investment. You need to make an investment in yourself. Same thing as like hiring a nurse career coach like myself. It's an investment, but it's a very small investment to what you're actually going to be getting paid, because all the clients that I work with make over 100,000 as a new nurse. Okay. And anywhere up to 120, 150, some of them to about 170. So it's an investment, but it's definitely worth it. So number 3, I'm going to get into communication in just a minute. Okay. Support you in your work. We honor nurses. Something funny actually appeals to the child ego state in the interview and automatically means the interviewer. Okay, so I guess that's a pretty long comment. It's okay, no worries. So let's get into number 3, communicate with clarity. So many new nurses, including myself when I was a brand new nurse, it's normal to feel nervous when you're going to the interview, right? However, this is what preparation does. When you're prepared for the interview, you know what you're going to say, you know how to answer the questions, you've done the work. And this is what I do with my clients. I prepare them so that any question that gets thrown at them, they're ready to answer with confidence. And it doesn't matter what question, they are ready to slay. They are ready. So communicate with clarity. So that comes with the promotion and the pitching, right? You need to be clear when you're articulating your value. You need to be concise in your answers, but get to the point. So a lot of people will not answer the question that's being asked because they're so nervous and they're just rambling all over the place. And then they go on and on and on and on. So you need to also develop a sense of situational awareness, that you're actually paying attention to the interviewers and, pick up on some cues, but answer the question that they are asking with clarity and conciseness. Like, be concise, right? Also have charisma, like be enthusiastic that you're there. And you can do that through your communication. I'm not saying be fake, but be a little bit more enthusiastic so you show interest in the role, okay? A lot of us might be a little bit more extroverted or introverted, so, adjust accordingly, but make sure that you look interested, you're smiling, and that you're happy to be there, and that you're showing gratitude and thanks for the opportunity. Also, before you even get to the interview, you have to do a lot of mindset work and really believe that you're going to get the role. If you don't believe you're going to get the role, you're not going to be able to communicate with confidence. So you need to exude confidence even in your belief that, like, I'm the right person for this role and I'm going to get this role. So that is all work that we do. Number 4, stand out with stories. So storytelling is so powerful. So we work that into the pitch, into the interview pitch, a little bit about your why story and why you went into nursing and why you particularly want this role and why their particular hospital. And another tip that I want to give you, when they ask you, why do you want to work here? Don't talk about what that organization can do for you. Don't talk about, yeah, you guys are a magnet. You're a great hospital. I can't wait to learn. That is all stuff that they're going to be giving you. So when they ask you why you want to work here, flip it around and say, what can you bring to their organization, which is very different and refreshing. So you're going to say things like, I want to help increase your patient experience scores, because I know patient experience is extremely important in today's healthcare system. And then you might have a story where you share that your patient experience is exceptional, your customer service is exceptional, and talk about that, right? So that's part of the number 4, stand out with stories. Talk about patient experience and what that means to you, how you can exceed patients' expectations and really cater to their needs, and speak to your results, right? So if you have specific metrics, specific numbers, especially this works for a lot of leadership roles or education roles. That's a little bit more experienced nurses, but managers love to hear about results. Or maybe you did a quality improvement project in your BSN program or whatever. Speak to that, okay? And then number 5, master the art of connection. So again, this goes back to connecting and building relationships, but you want to take it further to when you get called. So when you get called from the recruiter, even if you are on the phone, you want to sound professional, answer the phone professionally, and be enthusiastic in the voice, right? So that when you're answering these questions, you sound pleasant, you sound enthusiastic, and that you have charisma. All these things truly matter. Okay? And the recruiter is not going to ask you very many questions. Most recruiters are not nurses, they're HR professionals. However, there are a couple that are nurse recruiters. So find out who you're interviewing with. That is extremely important for on the recruitment side and also on the hiring manager side. Find out who's going to be in the interview. Is it going to be a one-on-one interview? Is it going to be a panel interview with multiple people, such as the educator and other nurses that are on the unit? Or even, wherever you're working, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the hospital. Let's say it's a community center or outpatient center. You should still know who you're going to be interviewing with, okay? What else? So the art of connection, really, you want to be pleasant, articulate your value, like I said, and really connect with people. So what do I mean by that? As a nurse, you're going to learn just in general to have people skills, right? How do you greet people? Are you smiling? How do you treat the reception person in the front, right? Are you very polite, professional? All those things they're going to take into consideration. How, are you maintaining eye contact? Are you able to partake in a little bit of small talk? Because if you cannot relate or connect with the person interviewing you, they're going to think, how is this person going to be able to take care of patients or communicate with patients with confidence? This is what they're looking at, right? So make it a conversation. You're literally just having a conversation with another person. Don't look at it like it's an interview, like it's a question and answer interrogation style, right? It should literally just be a conversation, and you should make it flow as such. And if the interviewer is really good, they will be able to facilitate that. However, whatever's happening, you're just going to have to go with the flow and make it look very natural and that you're just having a conversation. Okay. And then you're also interviewing them. Remember that, right? That they also want you. They want to hire you. That's why you're there. You're qualified. So stop thinking in your head that you're not qualified, that you're not good enough. Remove all that negativity. And again, it goes back to mindset and being positive and being prepared for the interview. So again, if you're just watching this and you missed the beginning, this was 5 ways that you can land your dream role as a new nurse. Number 1 was to build relationships that matter. Number 2 was to pitch and promote yourself with confidence. Number 3 was to communicate with clarity. Number 4, stand out with stories, because storytelling is powerful, and really speak to patient experience because people love that. And then number 5, master the art of connection. Really being able to turn this interview into a conversation and less of a Q&A, right? Because people want to feel connected with you. If they can feel connected, they feel like they trust you, they like you, guess what? You're going to land that job. and you want to bring out those skills and those soft skills where people feel like they can really speak to you, that you would be great taking care of patients and families, okay? Because essentially nursing is all about building relationships, connections, and that trust factor, okay? And that is basically it. So like I said, if you would love to work with me, find out more about interview skills, follow me for more tips, subscribe to the Nursing Dose on Spotify and on YouTube, and connect with me here on LinkedIn if we're not directly connected. Also follow me for more content. You can hit the follow button so that any other posts or lives that I do, you'll get notified. And that if you want, like I said, to have the ability to work with me to land your dream job, direct message me in my inbox and learn more about how you can work with me. All right. So I'm pretty much done. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.